Who needs a little more chaos in their lives? And by the way, I don't mean whatever is currently happening over at Ubisoft. Oof. Well, Space Marine 2 might be heading in a completely different and awesome direction, and they are talking all things DLC and the future of this incredible game. Welcome to the channel. This is LtBuzzLitebeer, and we've got Space Marine 2 news flying in from all angles, including some developer drops concerning what direction they might be taking with future content, as well as talks about PS5 Pro. We've also got community posts and what to expect tomorrow. Now, I wasn't expecting my last Space Marine 2 video to do as well as it did, and by the way, I have you to thank for that awesome reception. In case you are new here, consider hitting subscribe and ringing that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. And it's time to check out all the latest with Space Marine 2. In my last upload, I covered the future DLC plans for this game and also the talk of Space Marine 3, which came to us from an IGN interview with Chief Creative Officer at Saber, Tim Willits. Now, in case you missed it, a link available in the video description to that upload where I kind of covered it all. But as we stayed with Willits and his recent comments, we instead now turn to GameRant, who just posted this one. Space Marine 2 dev comments on PS5 Pro potential. Now, we've seen Sony making the rounds and hyping up the PS5 Pro with comments like, it will be the most visually impressive way to experience PlayStation titles, but for many consumers, the price point is a non-starter when it comes to actually upgrading to this console. Insert Willits, who has expressed optimism for the future of Space Marine 2's game performance on the PS5 Pro, with his focus being on frame rates and the Pro's new PSSR feature. And by the way, PSSR stands for PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, and when comboed with their more powerful GPU, it improves rendering and shows an increase in photorealism. Now, back with Willits again, and here's what he had to say, quote, "What I'm excited about is the AI upscaling of the graphics," he said. "I have my kick-ass AMD machine, and the game looks effing great, but when I play on the PS5, I play performance." He also went on to say that the Xbox Series X typically outperforms its PS5 counterpart by almost 10 to 15 FPS, despite both of them being set to the same settings and resolution, becoming most noticeable in very demanding scenes like when battling huge swarms or using the flamethrower. Willits hopes that even if Space Marine 2 was played on the Pro's performance mode, it would still look better than the current console's quality mode. So, adding in PSSR with the upgraded GPU should equal higher frame rates, making the game look and feel better than ever. It was also mentioned that Space Marine 2 is not slated to come to the PS5 Pro enhanced list. Interesting indeed, right? And by the way, I've got to be honest here, I haven't looked at anything to do with the PS5 Pro as I main a PC, but I have noticed that SM2 is very CPU hungry and intensive, but tends to be very easy on my GPU. Now luckily, I have a Threadripper Pro, so in terms of CPU cap, yeah, I'm doing just fine. But for all my console viewers out there, is the PS5 Pro something you're going to try to pick up? Is that price tag enough to push you away? Drop me a comment and let me know where you stand on it. In my last video, we also discussed the Zongors, and I highlighted this Reddit post talking about just how much of a pain in the ass they are to deal with, specifically the ones that carry the shields. And by the way, I just wanted to let you know I saw this firsthand last night, and it really stuck out to me as one of these guys ran up on me and I hit him with 3 point-blank blasts from the Melta rifle, fully maxed out on my Vanguard. And the first one just stunned him, the second one broke his guard, and the third finally finished him off. And yeah, I definitely feel the same pains when it comes to dealing with these little buggers. Now, multiply that by 20 to 30, and that's how ruthless difficulty feels when taking on these specific operations. But how would it feel to flip the script, embrace the dark side, and play alongside those pesky demons? Well, we might just get our wish. Quote, Space Marine 2 Chaos Marines DLC is not just a dream anymore. Space Marine 2's creative director hints at potential Chaos Marines content. Could players soon experience the dark side of Warhammer 40K? FandomWire dove into this idea when an exchange between the game's creative director and a fan took place on Twitter. This time, it was the game's creative director, Oliver Hollis-Like, responding to a post asking for more Chaos Space Marine customization as well as trying to squeeze them into future PvE operations. Here's what he had to say. There are a lot of requests for more Chaos customization, so it's likely we'll add it eventually. Chaos stories would be cool, but we'll have to see. I'd love to tell their side of the story. Also stating that if they can find the resources, which hopefully they can find the resources after that many millions of sales, it would be awesome to add this into the game. He also spelled out some of the intricacies of adding this group into the game. Quote, we have a partial set right now, but we need everything for the Tyranids 2, plus all the VO for the specific missions would need a lot of content. It's actually not that simple. We need new animations, proper balancing, full voiceover, and script for the Chaos Marines to make them feel real. It's a big job. The article finishes up with, despite these challenges, the potential for a Chaos Marines DLC is tantalizing. That I do agree with. Imagine storming Imperial strongholds as a Chaos Terminator or infiltrating Loyalist ranks as an Alpha Legion operative. It is an understatement to say that the possibilities are vast. Maybe it's just me here, maybe I'm way out in left field, but the whole time I was reading this, I was like, he didn't say no, so there's still a chance here. But what adding this kind of walk on the wild side might add to operations, calling it interesting, really wouldn't do that any sort of justice. Having the ability to warp around, using the new weapons and the different combat profiles, just that alone sounds like a ton of new content. But again, I'm going to turn to chat on this one. Are you on board with chaos being added into operations? I mean, this could be huge, especially if Saber sticks with SM2, like I know a lot of you want them to for the long run, and they really tried to develop it to its fullest potential. Again, let me know where you stand on all of this by leaving me a comment down below. All right, completely switching gears, and you need to be on the lookout for this one tomorrow, as the game will be undergoing a time where it will be going through server maintenance, where, as they say, quote, disconnects can be experienced. Now, no word on what exactly is being done, but there is a patch being installed in combo with that maintenance, and fingers crossed the stability and game crashing issues are going to be greatly improved. I love playing SM2, especially operations, but the whole friends list thing and getting dropped repeatedly needs to be sorted out. I can't have two games I currently love playing, both dropping me out of matches with frequency. And in case you're wondering what the other one is, it has something to do with democracy. And that's the only hint you need. Here's a question for you. How would you like to be able to play the entire campaign rocking your Deathwatch armor? Well, those incredible modders out there have already figured out how to do it. Coming to us from Reddit, someone has modded the Deathwatch into the game and they look and play almost flawlessly. So is it really a technical limitation or GW? And as always, links to all of today's sources can be found down in the video description. But yeah, how cool does this look? I mean, everyone seems to want that look, right? As every time I join a random operation, one or both of my squad mates are at least using the Deathwatch pauldron, me included, and I just really love their overall look, but to be able to use them for hours upon hours again in the campaign, that sounds like something I know a lot of you would love to try, especially if you want to go through on a higher difficulty again. Look at all that Space Marine 2 goodness we've been through today, right? Devs talking performance on PS5 Pro, which I know launches in early November. We've also got the potential for future Chaos DLC, whatever's coming to us tomorrow with the updates and maintenance, and then the Deathwatch being fully modded into the game. I mean, damn, Space Marine 2 is really firing on all cylinders right now. But with that, let's jump into your top 3 comments from my last Space Marine 2 video. And as always, if you want to see your comment and name featured in my next video, you need to take the time to leave me a comment on this one. And who knows, it might just get upvoted enough to make it into the top 3 breakdown. And with that out of the way, in the number 1 spot is Breaking Wild Gaming, who says they need to have a strong focus on the longevity of SM2 before changing course and developing SM3. As a standalone, SM2 has limited gameplay. Not expanding that will see players move on as they will tire of the rinse and repeat. SM2 is great and deserves a heap of love from the devs as well as the players. I'm in total agreement with you here, Breaking Wild Gaming, and by the way, congrats on taking the number 1 spot. And for those of you that are new to my videos, this was a question I posed to chat in my last upload, because there was talk of, instead of expanding SM2, just immediately starting into developing SM3, and this is in reference to that. So definitely would love to see SM2 expanded and basically fleshed out to its fullest. I'm totally on board with that. And the number 2 spot is Let's Go Catch Us Some Fish. And that is one hell of a YouTube ID there. Man, they said, we definitely don't need to be talking about Space Marine 3 already. So we're back to this topic again. Hold your horses and continue developing this wonderful game and fill it with more content. Much like I responded on the number 1 comment, I'm definitely on board with this. Let's see how far SM2 can carry us. And bringing up the caboose in the 3rd spot is Whiskey6964, of course, with a picture of a whiskey bottle as their avatar. I'm on board with that, by the way. And again, same kind of delivery here. They said they should give SM2 a couple of years before releasing number 3. And by the way, congrats, Whiskey6964, on taking the 3 spot on this one. So all 3 comments today are all of the same idea. Stick with SM2. Let's ride this pony straight into town. All right, I think this is a great place to call it quits for this one today. And as always, leave me any feedback or comments you have about Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2, whatever it is, and I'll do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest and greatest upload alerts. All my socials, including links to all of today's sources, can be found down in the video description. We are dangerously close to hitting 245,000 subscribers here on the channel, with our end goal being 250K. And I've got to give a massive and heartfelt thank you to those incredible ladies and gentlemen that have already taken the plunge. You've hit subscribe and you tune in on the daily to support me and my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.